In the last Dhamma talk, we were discussing about 5 hindrances, 5 mental states that could slow the progress of your meditation. Those 5 are, the first one is sense desire, second, ill will, which we have already discussed. The third one is sloth and torpor, and the fourth one is restlessness and remorse or worry. And the fifth one is doubt. So the sloth and torpor, what is this? Sloth and torpor. Very loosely said, in a meditation, it's sleepiness and laziness. Okay, sleepiness and laziness. Tina, Metta, Nivarana. What is Tina is the shrinkage of the mind, okay? Shrinkage of the consciousness itself, okay? Sluggishness, shrinkage of the consciousness itself. Tina. Metta is, it is the mental associates or mental factors that arises along together with the consciousness. Is called cetasika. It's said mental associate or mental concomitants. So there are 2 aspects in mind. One is consciousness. Consciousness is simply the ability to know or the power to know a phenomenon that knows. That's it, nothing more, nothing less. Okay, that's consciousness. And mental associates are things that arises together with that consciousness. They arises together, they coexist together, and they pass away together. In general, you can call it all the emotional factors, but a lot more than that, of course. And all those things are called mental factors. And in here, metta is the inactivity of these mental factors. The first one is shrinkage of the consciousness itself, or inactivities of the consciousness itself. And metta is the shrinkage or inactivities or inactiveness of the mental factors. So that's technical explanation. But to understand it in your meditation, when you become lazy, when you become sleepy, when you become dozy, that is, you are in the state of sloth and torpor. Okay. So basically, if you become lazy, what happens? Your mind doesn't work that much anymore. Okay. When you become sleepy, your mind almost shut down. When you are in a state of sleepiness, but you don't fall asleep yet, you are not aware of anything. Suddenly you are in a state of unconsciousness, and suddenly the head nod, and then you become aware of it. Basically, the mind shut down, the mind shrunk, the mind become inactive, the mind become lazy. So in English, sloth and torpor is, that's what it refers to. In Pali is tina metta. Tina is torpor, metta is sloth. Okay, this totally opposite to the 2 words in terms of place. But as it is easy to say sloth and torpor, and it's used to say sloth and torpor, they just use it exactly as that. But each word is a totally different place when it comes to Pali. So laziness, sleepiness, drowsiness, that kind of states arises when you are in meditation. Okay? So some of you might have already experienced it, some of you may not have. Okay, within an hour, of course, you might be quite alert and quite aware. But when you go to retreat, you meditate from the moment you wake up. Let's say you got up about 4:30 in the morning and you go to bed about 10 o'clock. The whole day you are in a state of meditation. It may be sitting meditation, it may be walking meditation, it may be observing all the general activities and daily activities. Okay? We put it in at the beginning for the beginners, an hour sitting, hour walking, sit, walk. And also in between there's a breakfast time, lunch time, and you may have to use your shower, a toilet for the cleansing of the bowels and so on, number one, number two. And all these are daily activities. We call it daily activities. And those things you have to be general awareness most of the time, but some you can be quite deeply aware. Depending on the situation, you decide how to observe, how deep to observe. So when you're doing that from dawn to dusk every day, like some go to retreat for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. So at one point, this kind of sloth and torpor could rise you. And then just imagine you are meditating and suddenly you are sleepy. You can't really concentrate. You are sleepy, half asleep. You try to wake up. You are not totally falling asleep, lying down, but at the same time you are tug of war. So there will be no chance to meditate or to be fully aware, alert, and mindful. That will totally slow down your progress or hinder your progress of meditation. So that is sloth and torpor, how it arises in a retreat. But some people might even have it in this 1 hour sitting. But even this 1 hour sitting, you will find, okay, some days you feel like very lethargic, if not right out sleepy, quite lethargic, and the mind is totally in a state of fog. You are not quite aware. You are sitting, you are awake, you are not falling asleep, but you are totally in a state of fog. Okay, that is also sloth and torpor. The mind starting to shut down from its full capacity of working. Why some days you are quite alert and why not? There are physical reason and mental reason. Physical reason is, let's say you have a very hard day, tough day, physically draining. Okay, or even say mentally stressed out and drained. So in other words, during that particular day, your energy is sucked out or drained out or used up. So it's physically you are quite drained, physical energy drained. And under the situation, you come to class here or meditation, 7 o'clock, you sit there for about 10-15 minutes, okay, and after that, because of the lack of energy, you start nodding off. That's one reason, the physical reason. You will find there are days that you are quite exhausted from your daily work. But in retreat, of course, you don't have that much, because the whole day, and especially in our type of setting and meditation. You don't have to do anything, you don't need to do anything. All that, your responsibility is to meditate. Okay? Everything is catered, your breakfast, your lunch, your juice, any food and need. And even if you have some illness, minor illness, things like that, you can communicate with the camp manager or overseer, and they will take care of your needs. They have all the medicine lined up. Most of the common illness that falls upon the yogis, they know, so they have that. In other words, in general, you don't need to do anything. So the point is, you will not be exhausting yourself physically. Physically, you're fully charged. And on top of that, you'll find that when you can meditate really deeply, right into the flow of meditation, you'll find that your energy even increased. Okay? You have more energy than before when you can sink into the proper flow of meditation. Good flow of meditation generate more energy in your body. The physical energy is pumped up because of your good meditation. That's why people thought, oh, I'm meditating 16 hours a day, I'll be tired, exhausted, drained out. When you begin to think that way, that's what happened. But some don't think about that at all. And all that they are doing was focusing moment to moment to moment. And if you can do that, okay, moment to moment, I'm not expecting all 16 hours continuously without break. That's a far cry. You have to really go high up. But in general, most of the time, you feel satisfied that you are quite focused and observant of the moments. And in those moments, you find that your energy really pumped up. You can even feel in your body, physically, you are alert and awake and ready to pounce up to anything. The mind generates, pure mind, concentrated mind can generate a lot of physical energy in your body. So, in here, when you got sloth and torpor, that means you cannot generate, and which means you cannot focus moment to moment. Even though you think you are focusing, they are not deep enough. They are superficial. That's how they go into. The more you drift into the patterns of thoughts, stories of thoughts, the more it happens to go into the sloth and torpor. And another thing too, just to be aware how this arises. We went to retreat. We are meditating. What are you doing? All the time, most of the time, primary object. Rising, sitting, falling, touching, rising, sitting, falling, touching. That's it. That's all the objects. Occasionally thoughts come and you observe the thought. Occasionally pain comes and you observe the pain. Occasionally the sounds come and you observe the sound. And at the same time, whatever sound, whatever smell, whatever sights that come in, what do? Hearing, seeing, touching. You don't go deeply into the analysis or projection or building up story or investigation, nothing. Simply bare awareness, hearing, seeing. So that's what you're doing all the time. And now let's look back our everyday life since the moment we were born till now. We are used to the pattern of being with one object after the other, one incident after the other, one condition after the other, one story, one after the other. We are constantly engaging with all these things. To put in a different way, we are constantly engaging with beautiful thoughts and ugly thoughts, beautiful smells and ugly smells, beautiful sights and ugly sights, and beautiful sound, taste, touch, and ugly sound, taste, touch. We are constantly engaging. And whenever we have something that we like more, we emphasize and engage into it deeper and longer. And also whenever we really hate it, we engage it deeper and longer. And in between we float around and looking for the next thing that we really like and the next thing that we really hate. That's what we are doing every day, all the time. From the moment we wake up to when we fall asleep. So we are engaging in many objects and constantly one after the other, looking for what we really like and looking and eliminating for what we really hate. And that's all that we are doing. So eventually we become addicted to that process. We become addicted to it, and automatically, without knowing, we look for those things that could stimulate us. Both positive and negative stimulate you. Good things stimulate you, and also bad and ugly things stimulate you. That's what we are looking. So, in other words, we are always looking for the stimulant. And without knowing, we become I call it stimulant junkies. We become stimulant junkies. And as long as we have these stimulants, we seem alive. That's why when people have things to gossip, they are alive. Things to blame, they are alive. Things to find fault, they are alive. Because we become stimulant junkies. That is our daily life, sad to say, but the fact is true. And suddenly, when we go to retreat, we just simply stay on the objects which are ultimate reality, the facts, only on facts. No projection, no interpretation, no reflection, no story. So automatically we are deprived of the stimulants. And as we become deprived of the stimulants, what happens? The minds become bored. Oh, boring, rising and falling is boring. And from boring, laziness slips in. From that laziness, eventually, it goes into sleepiness. That's how changes. Everything is simple, cause and effect and cause and effect and cause and effect. Conditions are controlling everything. So, if you know that much, you know what that sloth and torpor is, and you know from what sources, physical sources and mental sources, can arise from, they are cause. Okay. Now, you are in meditation, you are in a mode of sleepiness and laziness. Of course, the thing is, you have to counterattack it. And these counterattacks, what do we do? How do we do? First and foremost, the first step is you must be aware that you are sleepy. You must be aware that you are lazy. That's the first thing. Easy to say, but very difficult to do. In other words, you have to lazy, sluggish, lazy, sluggish. But you have to really probe into the sensation of the laziness and sluggishness. Sluggishness is one thing, laziness is one thing, knowing that is another thing. If you can really clearly know it, automatically that laziness and sluggishness disappear and you become awake, alert again. That's one thing. So be mindful of the laziness, sluggishness, and sleepiness. That's the first thing. In other words, you have to pump in a lot more deeper, okay, probing. And some people it works, but most people it doesn't work. So when it doesn't work, next step, what do you do? Okay. Next step is, in your mind, you think about a phrase that you like. Okay, let's say, mind over matter, just one phrase. Okay, let's say that is one of your favorite lines. In other words, that mind over matter, you just say it mentally, mind over matter, but not just simply saying the word, okay, chattering or uttering mentally the word. You know the intricacy of that mind over matter. There's a matter is rupa, okay, or the body, and the mind is citta, consciousness. The mind can be over the matter, the mind can manipulate the matter, the mind can change the matter, the deeper understanding. Okay, in your own way, this is not somebody planting into you, you are not doing it because I said it, you are not doing it because a book said it, but something that really clicked to you. A phrase, a word. Okay? As an example is in Hindu, the word Om, 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 Om. That's a very powerful word. They like that word. Of course, you are Buddhist, so you won't be doing this word. But regardless, when they say Om, 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 Om mentally, then you sink into that work and you are totally awake. Just like that, in Buddhist too, there are many words then. As an example, we say Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Arahato. So you just say Arahan, 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 Arahan. Arahan is what? The mental defilements. Lobha, dosa, and moha. Greed, anger, and delusion. Arahan or Arahat is one who has completely overcome and eliminate these mental defilements. In other words, that person is pure in the mind. No traces of this mental defilements are left. And that person is called Arahan, Arahat. Okay? And we are practicing to become that, basically. In other words, we are practicing so that our mind is totally pure. There's no traces of any form of greed or craving or attachment, any form of ill will or anger or frustration or irritation, nothing. And there is no delusion or illusion. You are certain about everything in a factual way, not into a conceptual way. That kind of a mind. So when you are saying Arahan, 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 that's what it means. Not just a word, you actually sink into that meaning of it. And so on. So, mentally saying a certain words or certain phrase that are your favorite mentally, and that may overcome sloth and torpor. If not, what you do was the same phrase or the same words, you say it out aloud now. But there are other people, so you cannot say too loud. The first was mentally, now is verbally. Arhan, 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 Arhan. You can hear your own voice. By doing so, you may overcome this sloth and torpor. sleepiness and laziness. First of all is speech. The first one is the mind to the mind, probing into that sluggishness. Sluggishness and laziness is the one of the mental factors. And you are probing deeply, which means you are drilling it with the drill of mindfulness, observing deeply, mind into mind. Second one is mind with the reflective words, the words with the meaning. In the mind still, but you are applying some conceptual words. The third one is speech, the sound. You use the sound to eliminate the sleepiness. And then you may overcome. And if not, the next one is, once you finish the mind, once you finish the speech, verbal sound, the third one's naturally it's a physical deed. Physical deed is you just stretch your back, straighten it up, or put your palms together. Okay. And rub it like that, or a little bit massage it. Rub your hands, rub your shoulders, and so on. Physically. What are we doing? Very simply, we are trying to promote the circulation of the blood circulation. Friction produces heat, and when it becomes heat, the blood flows faster. So that is the number 4. Okay. And you rub it, rub your face, rub your temple, rub your eyebrows, press it up, and meditate. You may overcome. And if you don't overcome, next one, step up a little bit more. This one is simply rubbing. The next one is, let's say, pull your ear and twist it really hard. Or pinch yourself so that it hurts. So in other words, you are creating a certain degree of pain. What does pain do? Pain wakes you up. So whichever means and way you think about just inflicting a certain degree of pain to wake you up. The first one is simply friction, blood flow. The second one is inducing pain. That may wake you up, and if it doesn't wake up, and still you are still nodding, what do? The next one is, now, one step more. This is a physical deed, but this physical deed is through the touch, okay? Through the touch sensation, lighter touch, harder touch, and then really deep touch, pain. Pinch yourself. Pull the hair. So this is body to body touch. Doesn't work. Now what you do is open your eyes. What do you use? You use another tool. What is this tool? Eye. It means sight, seeing. Open your eyes. Open your eyes and look at the light. Okay, nowadays we have the electric bulb. Stare at the electric bulb. Look at the electric bulb. And if you don't have it, and if you're meditating in the forest and stuff like that, open your eyes, look at the stars, look at the moon. In other words, light, sight. You stimulate the sense of sight. You stimulate the touch, the skin. You stimulate the mind. That's, in other words, we are giving stimulation, but these stimulations are within the zone of meditation, not far out. Okay? And you see the moon, seeing. But the light is stimulating your eye. If it works, then great. It just doesn't work. Then what you do is, you look at the lights, doesn't work, still fail, you get up. You get up, Okay, nowadays we have to go to the bathroom. There's a sink. Wash your face with water, cold water. And cold water, splash it around, things like that, and it brightens you up. Okay, in other words, the sense of the temperature. The other one was sight. Now you are using temperature to wake you up. If it works, carry on. If it doesn't work, then next step. Next step is actually you get up and do the walking meditation. Okay, not very slowly, a little briskly, quite a brisk pace, a little bit quick, and then slowly down. Then that walking meditation may wake you up. And if it wakes up, then you overcome. So in here is the actual, you are using the motion now to wake you up. Okay? Temperature, here is a motion, movement to wake you up. And that still doesn't wake up. You're still really sleepy. And only after you have tried all these things and still fail, and if you're still sleepy, only then you may go to your bed and surrender. But know that you are sleepy, know that you are sleeping, and take a cat nap. You don't sleep for 1 or 2 hours. Let's say you have an alarm, maybe about 15-20 minutes. Put a set timer, sleep it. That 15-20 minutes cat nap, when you wake up, sure, that sloth and torpor is gone. But that is the last resort. So keep in mind. So these are all the things. It's very common sense, step by step, how to wake up. And I'm not making it up, all these things, just with the thoughts and logic and so on. There was a story how this teaching of how to overcome sleepiness. At the time of Buddha was alive. And he has his 2 senior, the most senior disciple, Shin Sariputta and Shin Moggallana. Shin Moggallana is he has the psychical power so great. Okay, there's none better than him except the Buddha. And when he started, he was a Brahmin. Brahmins are Hindu. They are Hindu and Brahmin especially they are the religious teacher class. From that, they like what the Buddhists taught and they convert themselves to Buddhism and practicing. That's a beginning stage. So as he has so much great concentration power or psychical power, that automatically proves he is very good at samadhi, concentration. He can go really deep into it. And when some go really deep, excessive into concentration, the effort is less. When the effort is less, you become sleepy. That's a natural correlation. So to make the long story short, he was practicing and he was sleepy, but he's fight on and he's nodding and nodding and nodding. And the Buddhists knew about it. He just walked over around there and then he walked around and he said, "Oh, my son Moggallana, are you feeling sleepy?" He said, "Yes, my Lord, I'm really sleepy." And based on that story, the Buddhists gathered a few monks and he gave a sutra or sutta, discourses. He doesn't simply just give things out of nowhere. Whenever something happened, he picked that up. Based on that, he talks. That is how Buddha taught us. So, that points are how to overcome sloth and torpor. Of course, in my talk, I put it more in a sense of the modern language and modern way of explaining. Over there is very simply itemized. Buddha taught short, straight to the point. And only his disciples, senior disciple, intelligent disciple, explain and expand and explain and expand and expound. But in general, that's what it is, and these are the teachings of Buddha so that one should be aware of. So with that, sloth and torpor should be plenty. The next one, okay, Uddhacca Kukucca in Pali. Uddhacca Kukucca. It is restlessness and remorse. Two different things, but they have the same mental factors. Restlessness is something, so to speak, you can't sit still. You are always in the state of move. Okay. Not just only physically. Sometimes physically you might be sitting still. The mind is leaping from one to the other, one to the other, one to the other. Incessantly you can't stop. In other words, you cannot stay put in one object. You cannot stay put in one thought. You cannot stay put on one meditation object. So it's moving round and round. And I quite often use the example, the best way to explain is, we go for a job interview. Even though you might have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 job interviews in your life, still when it comes to a job interview, you become nervous, you become anxious. You are there, and along with you there are competitions, 4 or 5 guys in there, and the CEOs and administrators are there calling one after the other for interview, and then you're sitting for your turn. At that time, how's your mind? You just can't sit still. The mind's thinking this, that. If they ask me, I'll answer that. If they ask me that way, I'll answer that. I will counter this way, and so on. All the possibility and probability you are playing in your head. And at the same time, there's the anxiety. Because of that anxiety, you can't sit still. You sit, you stand, you walk around, you go to the washroom, you feel like peeing, you go there, you don't really pee, and so on. That's a state. That is the manifestation of restlessness. That's what restlessness means. Okay. So restlessness means, in other words, restlessness is produced from the uncertainty of what is going to happen in future. Not knowing what is going to happen in future produce this restlessness. The mind state, the mental states of restlessness. Uddhacca. The mind is always in a state of dispersion. The mind cannot concentrate. The mind hovers over the object. They cannot really clinch the object. They cannot really dive into the object. They hover over the object and move to another object, move to another object, move to another object. That's restlessness. Uddhacca. So, now we know what restlessness is, and now also we know what created this uncertainty, what is going to happen to you in future. That is becoming the main thing. That's a time, which is future, with restlessness. So in here, what do you do? Okay. If you are in that kind of a state, you are in a state of restlessness. Now let's go back to meditation. In a meditation, you're sitting there and you just can't concentrate. Rising, falling, rising, falling, rising, falling, thinking, rising, falling, thinking, rising, falling, wandering. One thought after the other. Not only just one thought, many thoughts. Just jumping from this to that. Okay, you talk about Toronto and then suddenly you think about Vancouver, and then you might go to London, and you might go to Tokyo, or you might think about music, you might think about your painting, and so on. All the series of objects that you are engaged in your life just you are floating upon one after the other. So when that kind of a thing happens, you are in a meditation state of being restless. Okay, the mind is restless, and that's how it manifests. At that moment, stop about looking into all these objects. Don't look into any object. At that moment, try and see how you are feeling, actually feeling. Okay. How do you feel? At that moment, you are having anxiety. Some people have a lot stronger, so they can even call it anxiety attack. That is really drastic. Some people have moderate amount, some people have settled amount, but still that anxiety creates your restless mind. There's an anxiety. Because of this anxiety, there's a certain feeling in your body. If you can't actually probe into the mental nature of the anxiety. If you can probe into the mental nature of the anxiety, you probe into it. If you cannot probe into it, you try to feel the sensation expressing in your body due to that anxiety. Look into that sensation, look into that feeling, and observe that feeling. Observe that sensation. Okay. So that's what you're supposed to do. Not do anything, not solving problem, not thinking about anything, not blocking. No, I'm going to be tough. Nothing can touch me. Doesn't work. You probe into the feeling and sensation produced in your body due to the anxiety attack, due to the anxiousness. Why? Not knowing what is going to happen in future can trigger that. Or certainly it is very at present, but even with the present, if you really look at it, it is in the future. Somebody got a stroke and you are right there and you have an anxiousness. You think it is right there you are dealing, but no, it is about what's going to happen. Is he going to die? Is he going to wake up? Is he going to be paralyzed? That is the one that's really triggering your mind with anxiety into the future. So that's how you deal with it. When you have that restlessness in meditation, observe the anxiety itself or the sensation of feeling produced or manifested by the anxiety. And when you observe that, you will see it will slowly and slowly settle down, settle down, settle down. Disappear, appear, disappear, appear, eventually totally disappear. That's how one can observe and overcome anxiety. And second one is kukucha. It's called restlessness, and second one is worry. Worry or remorse. And this one is the same thing. Your mind cannot set on a meditation object. It's going round and round. But not too many objects. Some. But particularly a certain objects. Because this certain object is what you have done in the past. When your meditation got deeper and deeper, when you got more cool, calm, and collective, a lot of events that you forgot about, that you feel regret, that you feel guilt, that you feel remorseful, pops up in your mind. And suddenly sometimes it shocks you. Something that happened 15 years ago, it wasn't even in your awareness anymore, and out of nowhere, it comes out in your meditation. And that bothers you because you feel guilty about it. You worry about it, how it had affected others and how it could cause even for yourself. Oh, there's a bad karma I have created. In many ways, everybody is different. But regardless, there's a worry arises in you. Guilt arises in you. Feeling bad arises in you. And that thought comes again and again, visit you repeatedly, and you cannot contain your meditation. So in other words, this one is remorse or worry is, again, time related to the past. The first one related to the future, the second one related to the past. Okay, that's a difference. Time delineation, past and future. And so when these things happen, again, what you do was look into that situation, okay? Who, what, when, where, how. Because it is there, it's visiting you all the time, so you have to look into it. And the reason you look into it is, first of all, let's see, is this person still alive? Where is it? What it is, my friend? And if that person is still there, live in Vancouver and so on and so forth, you have an easy access. You just make a determination right then and there. Okay? After the retreat, when I go back, I will go there, the first order of my business, and then talk to that person, apologize to this person, and ask for forgiveness. You deal right face to face with the problem. But you make the determination. Once you have made that determination, you'll be surprised to know that that worry and guilt just simply disappear. It doesn't visit you anymore. But you actually go and apologize. If not easily physically available, you might be able to do with somebody from a distance with the email or mail or whatever, telephone. We have all these tools. In other words, apologize and ask forgiveness. And that's how you can dissolve that guilt, dissolve that worry. And let's say that person, that incident, there's nowhere to know, there's nowhere, no person to apologize. Then what you do was, you talk to yourself. Okay? What I have done is wrong. It hurts, it harms. It's really bad. And I really truly feel bad about it. And I will never ever commit such kind of offense again in my life. You make a determination and mentally, okay, ask forgiveness for that person and also mentally forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. And when you do that, you will find that remorse or worry will slowly disappear and disappear and disappear. It wouldn't bother you and you will be able to center it again and practice. That is plenty enough for restlessness and remorse. What they are, how it arises, why it arises, what is related to, and how to handle it. And the last one is called vicikiccha, doubt. Okay? To simply put it in a straightforward fashion, doubt in the Buddha, doubt in the Dharma, and doubt in the Sangha, and doubt in karma, and doubt in yourself. There are 5 doubts. Okay? So let's pick up the Dharma itself first. Okay? Instead of picking up the Buddha, let's go Dharma. Dharma is what we are practicing, what we are following. Okay? Because we believe that this is beneficial for us. And if you are following and if you are doing something you don't believe in, if you have doubt, how would you be able to progress? There's no way you can progress on something that you are doing without believing in it. And also this Dharma, what we are doing is not we are with a blind faith. Everything is rhyme and reason. cause and effect. Everything is explained. Okay? To go beyond doubt. And not only in the literature sense, theory sense, it even goes to the practical. In other words, at school, you can go to your classroom and you can go to your lab to find out how H2O water is formed. And once you go both theory and practice into the lab, there's no doubt about H2O. The same thing. Here, Dharma. So, if you have doubt in it, believe me, you better stop coming to this meditation because you will never progress. You are simply wasting your time. But if you don't have doubt, if you believe in it, then it won't hinder you. And then the Buddha, why we have doubt in it, first and foremost is historical figure. Is that Buddha really exists 2,500 years ago? Is he a legend? Is he a fiction? That kind of a thing. But nowadays we have so many documentation. Buddha is a historical figure, not a legend. So physical existence, you can clear your doubt through looking through all the historical evidence. And secondly, okay, the Dharma. Dharma, who taught that Dharma? Who delivered that Dharma to the world? It's the Buddha. If you believe in the Dharma, you believe in Buddha. If you have no doubt in Dharma, you have no doubt in Buddha. Not as a Buddha as a supreme being, almighty being, all-knowing being, all creator, all giver. He's simply a human being who knows how the mind and matter is, and who knows how to eliminate all form of physical and mental suffering. He discovered himself without a teacher, and he turns around and shares with the world. That's Buddha. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. So, Dharma, we have no doubt in Dharma, we have no doubt in Buddha, and also Sangha. Sanghas are monks. Okay, they are all various types. In general, Sanghas are supposed to be someone who devoted 100% of their life to learn and to practice the Buddha's teaching. They do nothing else but that. And also, at a certain level, at a certain stage, they turn around and teach other people. And that is called Sangha. In general, you can say somebody who's shaved and put a robe on and renounce everything and living there is Sangha. In terms of shape and form, to your sight. But the action is important. Action is, they live by the teachings of the Buddha, they learn the teachings of the Buddha, they practice the teachings of Buddha, and they turn around and share with anyone and everyone who is interested in it. That's Sangha. So, that is not having doubt in Sangha. And the karma. The karma is law of cause and effect. Nothing in this world arises without a cause. And if there's a cause, there's always an effect. Cause and effect, cause and effect. Everything in this physical universe can be explained through cause and effect. Everything in this mental phenomenon, okay, the mind, can be explained through cause and effect. That causal relationship. Nothing arises without a cause. And whenever there's a cause, there's an effect. And whenever you are looking at an effect, there is a cause. So that law of karma, of course, we can talk about an hour about karma. But at this moment, that's one. And one needs to believe in it. One needs to have no doubts in that causal relationship of the operation in this universe. That's number 4. Number 5, self-doubt. If you don't believe in yourself, if you believe that you cannot do this, you cannot tackle this, you cannot overcome this, that means self-doubt. That is the worst doubt of all. If you don't have confidence in yourself, if you are doubting yourself, whatever you do will not be successful. So there are 5 kinds of doubts, and if you have any one of those doubts, your progress will be hindered or stand still and stagnant. So that covers all the 5 hindrances. Hindrances of sense desire, hindrances of ill will, hindrances of sloth and torpor, hindrance of restlessness and remorse, and hindrances of doubts. May all of you be able to practice Satipatthana Vipassana, mindfulness insight meditation precisely and correctly, and may you be able to overcome these 5 hindrances as soon as possible. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Buddham pujemi, Dhammam pujemi, Sangham pujemi. Thank you.